Good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Let me see here. Let me turn the volume down over here. All right, get a little bit of playback there. All right. How are we doing this fine day? Gonna give a second for everybody to get in. Um, this week, this Tuesday, we're going to be working on the image that we started on Thursday. We rolled up this character here. We got somebody with an animal familiar, which was a tiger, and we got generating high-tech weaponry, and oh goodness, what else do we have? Generating high-tech weaponry. Did I write it down? Nope, I didn't write it down. And we got animal familiar. And so, what is up, Facebook user? Glad to have you. So, usually what I've been doing is I've been starting to draw the character on the show, and then I've been finishing up the colors and stuff after the show. But I figured this time I was going to come in and I'm going to finish up the colors here so we can talk about color a little bit. People can ask questions if they got questions about color and everything. So that's what we're going to be working on today. We are also going to have my man Kyrun Silva dropping in later after he drops the kids off at school. Not a euphemism. He's actually taking the kids to school. He's on the West Coast over there. It's a little earlier for him this morning. And when he gets done, he's going to be dropping in a few minutes, and he's going to be talking about the new book him and Shaun Barbour worked on, I Drive for Cerber, that just hit its goal on Kickstarter. It's doing awesome. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get a chance to read it. I tried to figure out a way to get Shaun either on here or on 5 Star Fridays, but it just doesn't work out with his work schedule, with him being all the way on the other side of the country. But Kyrun works from home, so he can do it. I Drive for Cerber. Yeah, baby. I'm really looking forward to this book. I'm excited about it. It falls right into that category of like dealing with monsters and stuff in unusual situations that I just love. That is why I was so excited for the Creature Commandos announcement from DC, because I freaking love that idea. The idea of having like monsters fighting the bad guys in World War II and stuff. I just love it. Them fighting for their country when their country's afraid of them. I just love the whole thing. It's such a great idea. So we're going to be doing that. I also wanted to show off for a split second something I've been working on. I don't guess we're going to use it today because we're not rolling up a brand new character today. The Tower Gray Skull. It is a new dice tower I have worked up for rolling up new characters. And you drop the little dicey poo in, and it rolls out the drawbridge, and then we get some numbers. So we're going to be able to use that baby real soon for rolling up characters. And that's going to be really cool. And we can roll up the dice and then use the chart that I built and get random tables of characters and then roll to see which one of those groupings we're going to get, how many powers is going to be in that grouping. It's going to be fun times. So I'm really excited that I finally got this done. I put a lot of work into it, a lot of love and tears and whatnot. I gotta admit, it does bother me that it's not wide and rectangular like Castle Grayskull, but I need a dice tower. I don't need a gigantic piece taking up a whole lot of room. And that's what I've got space for there. But I'm really proud of the way it came out. I mean, check it out, baby. Got the drawbridge going across a little chasm there. And look at this, man. We got, knockdown Skeletor. We got little places over here. Man in Arms needs to get in there and hide. Okay. He's got the high ground now, baby. It's got all the main features, even on the back of it. It's so cool. It worked out so neat. I'm so proud of it. Anyway, so that is the Tower Grayskull. I'm going to turn that off now, and I am going to drop out on my phone because it is driving me nuts. Because I'm getting an echo from it. So I'm going to have to figure that part out. I was supposed to have another webcam that I could put in here and set up. I can't find the freaking thing. I don't know what I did with it. I know you can't believe your Uncle Fishy would lose something, but I did indeed. It's in a box labeled Good Webcam. I don't know where that little box is. I have lost the little box. I have looked everywhere that I would put a little box, and it ain't there, baby. All right. Now we are going to get back onto the colors on this bad boy. I'm trying to decide. I'm flatting it out right now. I'm trying to decide if I want to lay in another plane of colors in the flats so it'll be easier to select things. And I think I'm going to. So I'm going to select color gamut on this layer. I'm going to select that gray. And then let's see. Select that color gray. And I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. Let's see if that went a little too far, but that's not bad. I can fix that. Alright. I should be able to do that. Whoops. Didn't have the color selected. So who else out there is excited for a drive for Cerber? I know I am. And what books are y'all looking forward to coming out soon? Because there's so much cool stuff coming out right now. Man, I already hit my limit for the month. Already. And we just got started. I'll admit I'm not the best at strictly sticking to my budget, but boy, I try. Because, well, I do get to make comic books for a living. Also, I draw comic books for a living. So, it's not the most profitable gig in the world. I could definitely do jobs that would pay me a better return. But I do love my job. And that is something not a lot of people can say. And to me, that is worth an awful lot. So, if I got a lower budget than some of you moneybags out there, that's okay. I ain't hung up about it. Let's get over here, mouse. What is up, Katie? Katie done clicked the link and got her name showing up. Look at you go, girl. I'm proud of you. Little Miss Tech Savvy over here. Good job. Took me forever. I had to ask Tessa how to do it. But I knew it was there somewhere because I had seen Dana and Moana share the link once. So once I found it, I saved it into my old computer, pinned it on my clipboard so I could always get back to it. And share it with my friends. What do you think, Katie? I'm working on the colors of this one that we started Thursday because I realized I keep jumping and doing the colors at home, and that's no fun for anybody who wants to watch the color side of things. And the color side of things can be so much fun. And coloring is something that I had so much trouble with in the beginning. Thank you. Katie says it looks awesome. I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you because Katie knows what she's doing. Katie knows where it goes when it comes to colors. Katie's been coloring the Finding D book for Unlikely Heroes Studio. I'm not jealous. Nah, not jealous at all. Stupid old Katie. I've seen some of those color pages too, man, and they look so good. I've always loved D's cartoons, but man, I gotta admit, that color makes it pop. Oh no! The last page of Finding D to color today because Katie's across the pond over there. Man, the last page. Sometimes that's bittersweet. I know the feeling. Like you enjoy working on something. Sometimes you're excited to be done with it. Sometimes you're like, woo, man, look what I did. And sometimes you're like, man, I'm going to miss that. Yeah. Uncle Fishy has felt the gamut when it comes to projects like that. Been excited to be done and sad to see it go. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that Finding D book. I can't wait to see it all in color. And honestly, because I'm old and my eyes are old, I'm excited to see it in print so I can actually look at it and read the words and not have to try and zoom in to read what it says because I'm old. I need glasses. There's always volume 2 to look forward to, and I'm going to do some personal artwork for a bit. Oh, there you go. Doing some of your own stuff. That's good. Let me ask you, Katie, what's your personal stuff? Is it something you can talk about? Is it a project? Is it just some pieces for fun just because you want to? Like, or are you working on some big secret project for UHS that's going to break Kickstarter when it comes out and hits 100 grand? You know, just asking for a friend. You know. Let's see how blue-gray hoodie looks. Because I know Uncle Fisher gets lost sometimes just drawing for fun. I didn't do it as much for a long time. I never drew for fun anymore. And it like really concerned my kids because I used to always, just draw stuff for fun just because, I thought it was cool. Or they would ask me silly things like, what would happen if you mixed the Flash with the Hulk? And so I would draw out this character and just draw stuff for fun. At the moment, I want to draw some of my own characters from a story I'm writing, do some anatomy study, and I want to do some wildlife art for exhibitions too. Ooh, I love wildlife art. Man, that's something that I never thought I would enjoy so much, but my mom was really into birds, and one year I sculpted presents for everybody, and I knew, well, my mom would want a bird. And so I looked around and found what I thought was an interesting native bird, the white-breasted nuthatch. And, cool colors, cool shape, and whoops, that was the wrong color. And I very quickly fell in love with sculpting birds. It is such a challenge. It's such a challenge sculpting real wildlife because, if I sculpt, a cyborg zombie sorcerer, nobody knows what that's supposed to look like. So whatever I put down is the right answer. But when you do a white-breasted nuthatch or a chickadee or a mouse, if you get something wrong, everybody knows. So now, it's a challenge to get it absolutely right. Like, I sculpted a mouse one time that would make you jump when you saw it, but a friend of mine looked at it and she's like, "Oh, a gerbil," and it broke my heart. But the more I looked at it, she was absolutely right. It was a gerbil. It looked more like a gerbil in mouse colorings than it did anything else. And I had let myself cartoonify the nose a little bit, and put a little bump in there that didn't belong there, and did some things that I just naturally would do in a drawing or something to make it read as a mouse. But everybody knows what a mouse looks like. They don't know why, but they know. Well, that's true too. But like when you do like a normal bird, like I did a chickadee a few years ago for art competition here, and if something's off on it, they don't know why, but they know it's wrong because everybody's seen them so many times. And trying to get all those little details right with it, I mean, and not just trying to photocopy something that you're looking at, trying to be creative at the same time, but trying to get it to look right is such a challenge that I fell in love with the complexity of it. And, you know, trying to get that look just right. Let's see how some dark blue gloves look on Home Dude here. I was thinking brown work gloves, but I kind of want to keep things. I don't like using way too many colors. I don't like going all over the place on the color wheel on a character. I want to keep it close to one or two colors so that it looks cleaner, reads easier as, it's this guy's gloved hand and not that girl's gloved hand because his gloves are a shade of blue, like his sweatshirt's a shade of blue, and hers are, red or whatever. So I'll kind of play around in the same zone of colors a lot on a character. I love these rusty brushes that I got, but sometimes they make a pain for coloring around. But yeah, I'll bring one of those. I got one of the chickadees. I got that chickadee on the bookshelf in the other room. I'll bring that on in the next one and show it to you. Let's see. I've got some basic skin tones that I took from old comics. But most of the time, they're too much, in my opinion. They're too brown, too orange, too whatever. But I do like to use them as a jumping off point. My whole custom color wheel that you see over here in the bottom corner, the top half of that is taken straight from that old DC Comics color chart from the 80s, that you see going around the internet, where they had their color scheme all laid out. And, back when you had to CMYK the colors and you had to cut it all out in ruby lith, and a bunch of little ladies sitting around in a room cutting ruby lith and figuring out how much cyan and magenta was going to go in to make this skin tone. So you only had so many colors to work with. So these old ladies only had so many, and they know the combinations for it all. And then they were a lot brighter because the colors were, absolutely going to get muted in the printing process on newsprint paper and stuff. So, it worked out better there. But on our bright digital printing presses today, digital printers, the colors come out so much richer and brighter that those old colors sometimes are too much. But I like to use them for a jumping off point. I like to start with that limited palette and then see where I go from there. And and I tend to desaturate things a bit. I was a big Hellboy fan and stuff, and that, especially when I was just starting to even consider coloring. So a lot of that kind of influenced some of my more drab colors, and I'm not going for exactly realism, but a little more grounded, maybe I would say, is where I'm trying to hit. That doesn't look like a shadow. That looks like a different texture. Like the inside of it was fuzzy or something. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can reflect some of these colors in the shoes. We'll brighten it up just a hair. Okay, don't want the pants to be too matchy-matchy. Oh, Javon over there coloring too. Look at you go, man. Good for you. Out there working away. Glad to see it. Don't want the pants to be too matchy-matchy, so I think I'm gonna just go gray on those pants. For now, I can always change it. That didn't work because I'm using the wrong tool, you fool. I'll tell you, I need to get better help. I don't know about this boy, he ain't right. Clean up some of those little edges where the fill tool didn't want to get all into the nooks and crannies of my fancy brushes. Can't leave your crannies unfilled. Nothing worse than a naked cranny. That's what Javon says. I asked Javon what he meant by that. He just shook his head and smiled. That's what Javon said. Yep. Yeah, I was talking to Javon one day. I said, "Hey, Javon, what's the weather going to be this weekend?" Man looked me dead in the eye and said, "If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, son." And I said, "Well, that may be, but I was asking about the weather." He just stared me dead in the eye and said, "I said what I said," and walked away. What are you going to do? Uh-oh. Look at this. What do we got here? We got somebody chiming in on the screen. We got your man.
What is up, man?
Kyrun Silva of Taurus Comics. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Can you hear me properly? Am I okay? Do I sound all right?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
All right. Man, thank you for having me on. I appreciate this.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad to have you. So tell us, you illustrated this book, correct?
Yes, I did.
Shaun Barbour right? Like
Yeah.
I got to put a little stink on the end of it for him. Wrote, I drive for Cerber. I am super, super excited for this one, man. I am looking forward to this one. Tell us about it, man. Let us know what's going on.
Okay, well, I do want to clarify something. Shaun is not the original writer.
Oh,
Uh, Shaun found the story off of Reddit. This was like a short story that someone named Mephius made.
mm-hmm.
And Shaun found it, fell in love with it, and he was like, this would make a great comic. So he went ahead and adapted the short story into comic form. And then he was like, Kyrun, I found this story. I've always wanted to work with you, which I've known Shaun for years now. I think we're going on like 5-6 years. We've known each other. And he's like, I've always wanted to work with you on something. Would you be willing to draw this? And I was like, okay.
Would you be willing to art this?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Us pencilers don't get enough credit.
I'd always art for you, man. Always.
And I was like, all right, yeah, Shaun, how much you gonna pay me? And then he was like, I'll pay you. No,
Whoa. Why we gotta get cussing, man? Don't be talking to me like I thought we was friends.
No, he was like, yeah, I'll pay you whatever you want. I just want you to develop this. I feel like your style is perfect for what I want to do with this. And I was like, dude, he gave me the script, and the story it's unique, it's new, it's different than anything I've worked on for sure in the past. And it's not your standard superhero stuff, which was fun. It's a psychological thriller in a way. It's about a young man, or I don't want to say young. He's really actually pretty old, but his name is Jim, and he's down on his luck. He's working construction, he's working odd jobs, and he's like, I'm not getting anywhere in life. And he's been in his dark place, and he finds this weird app called Cerber that just says, hey, want to make some free cash, want to make some easy money? And he's like, sure, why not? And he thinks that this is going to be, just a easy job he can do on the side. And he finds out that this Cerber is a drive sharing service for the paranormal, for the supernatural. We go through, the cover, it was drawn by me, inked by Shaun, which Shaun is also the inker on the entire series, and colored by Chris Hall. The cover was. The interiors are being colored by King Bola, which I think King did an amazing job. And I was like, this is dope. And then we got to work with Mephius, the actual writer of the book, and every step of the way Mephius was there, giving us encouragement, giving us tips. So the idea that we get their full backing on this is fantastic.
That is awesome. I mean, and there's so many cool ideas that show up in places like that, like on Reddit and things, and don't go much further than a group of people there that see it, that have real potential. It's awesome that y'all could work out something that everybody could agree to and be cool with and do together. This is awesome, man.
Well, it's really cool, like you mentioned, and I'd never thought of reaching out towards Reddit as a source to get people to look at comic books. I'm not really familiar with Reddit anyway, so that was not on my market, not on my radar. But when Shaun told me about it and we looked into it, we found out this has a huge following on Reddit already. It's from the short story. And then I guess there was someone that turned it into an audiobook also. And it got a huge following on YouTube for the audiobook. And Shaun was like, well, the next step is definitely got to be comic book, right? We got to put some visuals behind all this amazing story that we have. And I'm glad it came out the way it did. I was scared because I've only drawn a couple books for people in the past, but this is my first time doing a full story with just my pencils.
I love the expressions, man. Yeah. I love them.
I'm not at your level yet on my expressions, but I'm trying. I'm really trying.
It's something I'm always studying people's faces, and you will see, like, I'm just always studying people's faces for new little bits, and like the way somebody's eyes moved when they got surprised, or their mouth moved when they got excited, or like I'm really working now at trying to catch the more subtle expressions, like and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, man, I know you didn't just say that. Like, I'm trying to get those little things now, like what makes it look like that and not constipated.
Yeah, those nuances in the facial features are always really great.
Yeah.
let's see. That's the variant cover by what's his name? Mark. Mark. Yeah, Mark Zupsich.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
and I did the layout for it, and then Mark just went in and just killed it. Did all the artwork you're seeing there. He arted it
Oh,
basically.
cool.
He penciled it, he inked it, he colored it, and
He pulled a fishy. Good for him.
he did.
Good for you, man. Glad
Actually,
to see.
apparently Mark and Shaun have known each other since high school.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was
That's
blown
awesome.
away. Yeah, so we're super excited about this, and the fact that Shaun got this funded within the first week.
Oh, yeah.
mean-
that is so cool.
Because when we were in the talking stages of developing this, he was so nervous that he would even fund. Like he was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if people are gonna, be attracted to it. And I'm like, just put it out there. I'm gonna help you as much as I can. Get it funded. Just put it out there. And I think that first day we got like half of the funding, maybe more, on the first day alone. And I was like, dude, don't trip. You got this easily.
Oh, yeah. Man, this gets me thinking because there's so many awesome stories that like you're saying, I didn't really know much about Reddit. Mostly what I've known is stuff I've seen people sharing on Facebook and stuff. Kyrun really leveled up the
appreciate
entire
that.
book. So awesome. Good deal. I'm guessing I know who that Facebook user is. But I see so many cool things that have been shared, like that story idea about, dogs' lifespans being shorter than ours. And what if they looked at us like humans looked at elves in Lord of the Rings? Like that would make such an awesome short story to be like the dog telling your family history. And I'm the last one that's going to be able to stand beside this ancient being, and because they're getting gray now and they're getting slower and they get up slower and they gave away all of my pups instead of keeping one to be the next generation of guard. So I'm going to see him to the end. Like, it was such a moving little short story put together by all these different little people. I'm like, that would be awesome. But then you also got to get all those different people to agree. And that can, that can be like herding cats sometimes.
And Shaun is a very convincing person anyways. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's passionate, man. He is a passionate dude.
Yeah, that's the voice actor right there.
Oh,
that was
man, you got Thor voice acting for you? That's awesome.
I think he's one of the Hemsworth brothers. I don't know.
He's your second cousin.
The one that didn't go into acting, apparently.
Went into voice acting instead. He was just too sexy for camera. That's what it was.
Yeah, seriously. You see those locks back there?
Oh,
Whew.
man. That's something, man. I used to have that kind of hair. And I didn't cut it off because I went bald. I'm only thin in the front. I cut it off because I found out you could donate your hair to make wigs for kids with cancer. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm shaving my head. And I figured, I'm going to grow it out every few years and shave it off again. And after I shaved my head, I was like, nope, it's so nice to be able to just scrub your head and I don't have to fool with my hair. And it always looks the same. And oh, I love it. It is. I never in a million years thought I wouldn't have long hair, and now I can't imagine growing it back out. My kids have offered to take up a collection and pay me to grow my hair out. I won't do it.
See, you have such a generous spirit, and then you're gonna say you won't do it again. That sucks. Now
I know. I want to. I want to give it to kids again, though. I don't know how many kids would want a gray wig now, but but God, it just drives me nuts when it feels like wet carpet on my head now. I want
to say I feel you, but I've never had that sensation. My hair just grows up and out; it never goes down.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do grow it out and it gets wet, it feels like a giant sponge on top of my head. So I guess I know that feeling in a way.
Oh man, there's so many things I didn't think about when I cut my hair. Like for weeks, my head would slowly be going forward because I was so used to pulling against the weight of the hair that I would just constantly be putting my head down. I swear to God, I shaved my head like almost 20 years ago now, and I was getting out of the shower last year and tried to pull my ponytail up to put my towel on my shoulders. I don't know why. I mean, it's been years, and I just out of nowhere tried to do it.
That is your body telling you want the hair back. You want it, dude.
That's what it is. One of the cool side effects of the comic being made is that Mofucius is going to start making more installments of the story because of it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Inspiration breeding inspiration. It's a beautiful thing. Hell yeah, man. That is awesome.
Let me also add another cool thing, because a lot of times with Kickstarters, you have this idea that maybe the original Kickstarter creator would sign all the books, and you get like just the writer or just the artist that signs the books when you get it in the mail. What we're doing though with this is Shaun, myself, and Ophusius, we're all going to meet up. So anybody that's getting a physical copy, you're going to get it's signed by the three of us every book.
Oh, that is so cool, man.
So you're getting almost the entire creation staff outside of the colorist and the letterer.
I'm guessing Mofucius is on your side of the country, or
Mofucius is.
Okay, that makes it a lot easier.
Mofucius just moved into the city right next to my city.
Oh man,
this past year, so it's gonna be nice.
I tell you what, I wouldn't give to have, like, you know, a really fast inker and colorist that lived, you know, within an hour of here. That would be so freaking awesome, man. We would knock out so much stuff.
You do already. They live in your home house.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. Uh-oh, my computer went off. Come back on here, tablet.
Oh.
Tablet went off because it wasn't drawing.
Oh, it's unusual. It's like, hey, what's going on? You're usually drawing all the time.
Yeah, you're usually busy, and now you're not doing anything. What's up with that?
So are you using like an iPad to draw, or?
Oh, dang it, I tapped the wrong thing. Whoops, I almost said my code out into the world. Somebody could get onto my computer and, I don't know, draw for me. I don't know what. I am using a Microsoft Surface Pro 8. I got it.
Wow.
Specific. Okay. I have this gigantic computer set up that I wish you could see. I've got this big fancy, you know, draw on LCD screen from XP Pen. Over here, I've got two big monitors. I've got the lights and everything set up for streaming. And then my daughter-in-law and my grandbabies came to stay, and they're staying in this room too as the guest room. So I couldn't work in here very often. And so many times, like when the Friday night 5-Star Fridays comes on, I'm on the road going to a con or something. So I got this Surface Pro mainly so I could draw at cons. If I'm not doing something, I could be making money on a book while I'm waiting for customers to come by.
Yeah.
And I could stream from it on the weekends when we're gone, or I'm at my dad's house or whatever. And then it just became so easy to just draw on this in the living room in my recliner while the babies are in here sleeping that I do everything on it now. And now this is a big expensive setup just for streaming.
No, that makes sense. I have a friend who's also a comic book artist. He writes one of my favorite books. Is called Long John webcomic. And he has this nice setup in his room. He actually draws primarily on paper, you know, with pencil, and then inks it digitally. And he's like, but he got an iPad last year and got Procreate. And he's like, I prefer drawing on Procreate on the iPad and my couch. So yeah.
That's the thing. It's so easy. And I missed the ability to be able to use my fingers to zoom and rotate, which I can't do on my other screen. It's got quick keys all down the side of it that I miss on this. But I just added most of those to the buttons across the top of the screen. And, you know, it works just as well.
Let's see. I'm looking at all your files there, trying to see if there's anything we can, spoilers we can get at.
Let me see. Yeah, this is just my textures and stuff right there. Let's see. References. Textures. Let me look in here. Because I buy different sets of textures and stuff and take pictures and things to try and get cool. Oh, that's all concrete.
What's up, Danny J. Quick?
Oh, Danny J. Quick in the house. What's up, man?
Look at you buying textures. God, what's money bags over here?
Well, I buy them on sale, or I take a lot of pictures and stuff.
This really has become an art string. We're talking about buying textures. Do you make your own textures?
Oh yeah, I do a lot of that. Like, you know, I'll go I've always got my camera with me, so I'll be like taking pictures of the side of refrigerators and
Mm,
stuff, and when I'm at Home Depot or I'm always taking picture of asphalt, trying to get
mm,
something I can make a cool texture out of for grounds and roofs and things like that. And
okay.
I I have yet to make a brush that works really well for that, but you know, what are we
Denny
talking
said, "What
about?
are we talking about?" We're talking about textures right now. That's what we're talking about. It's art stuff. This is our art stream.
I'm coloring the character that I rolled up Thursday, and we're talking about I drive for Cerber while we're here. But we're also talking about coloring because I usually skip this step and just do it myself. And I was like, you know what? I got to do better than that. So, oh, I'm using the I'm using the mouse, and that doesn't work over here because. All right, select color gamut on my reference layer, and now I can go in and whoops, I didn't want to do that.
Now, I missed last week's stream. Is this character something that's gonna be an upcoming book or
Yeah,
okay.
they are they are going to end up in Green Zone for sure. Well, in an offshoot book for Green Zone, because I have so many stories that offshoot in this that I want to do. I just came up with another one the other day that's consuming my mind, but I've got like 40 issues of Green Zone to get out before that story makes any sense. And I'm telling you, man, it's like a fountain that won't shut off. It's like
I,
it's flooding my brain.
how do you have time? Like I struggle right now with dealing with the books I'm working on. And the idea, like I'm helping Danny finish actually I should be finishing up his book tomorrow. But I don't know how you have the time to just create so much and do streaming and deal with family stuff. That's
I'm telling
ridiculous,
you,
man.
man, I don't know how I'm doing it either.
Okay. All right.
That's the
Well,
God's
all right.
honest truth right there. I the it seemed like a great idea when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stream this twice a week. Uh, that's a lot.
It
That is
is.
a lot, and
Mhm.
like I'm having to take half of a day just to try and spend that time editing and making videos and stuff that I can post to TikTok and everywhere to show people what the stream's about so people will come in and, watch it.
Yeah.
I could send you texture photos if you want. Absolutely.
Can you send me some
Absolutely.
too? I need texture photos.
I would appreciate that because, like, I like making my own brushes and stuff, and sometimes they work out better than others. Sometimes I use them all the time. I tell you, the one brush I made that I use more than anything, I use it in every single comic I illustrate, it's just a white speck with a small black spot on one side and a bigger black spot on the other. And when I draw that out as a straight line, I get a raised white bar with an outline on one side and a shadow on the other.
Oh wow.
And I use that in every building. I use that for railings. I use that for everything. It just instantly makes a guy, makes a bar that's darker on the bottom, like it has some weight. It, I use it for window beams and everything, man. Why does a tiger have guns on its back? Because you silly Uncle Fishy's got this random list of superpowers that I made. And when you roll it up, let me get back over here and I'll share it for you. Um,
Oh, let's do
it's
that, Tony. Let's do that, Tony. Let's
it's
do
got
that.
100 something. Yeah, let's do. I want to see how that goes. I want to
I'm
see.
Sami Zayn. He is Roman Reigns.
And
Let's
you
do
can
it.
roll this thing and get random superpowers, and it'll give you one at a time, or you can get groups of 2 or 3. And when I did it and went through looking at all these different groups of powers, we got like Animal Familiar creates high tech guns and something else. So and then when I rolled for a familiar, I got like robot and tiger. And so I came up with this robotic tiger that's like made of nanotech, and he can basically generate into anything, generate all these weapons. It was developed for the battlefield, and this kid somehow, and then later on, as we were talking, we rolled up a power modifier, which is another roller I made just to see what it came up with. And the power we got, it's still on here, was power from an item embedded in your body. So what we decided is that the like some piece of tech, some controller, key fob, something got bonded to this kid, and now it's embedded in his body and won't come out, and that gives him access to be the one and only controller of this tech. And it's taken the form of a tiger, just I guess because that's cool, I don't know. And this kid has access to this weapons grade super tech, and now the government's hunting him down and stuff, and you've got the extra problem of they're not just going to take your pet tiger away, they're going to have to kill you to get this device out so that they can put it in a soldier and try it for real. So now he's got like legit stakes to be on the run. And I have a story that's coming in a year or two about a young female protagonist that is going from like South America to America to try and rescue her dad, and is a runaway, and the government and the cartels are trying to hunt her down, and she's going from place to place and meets up with all these runaways along the way. And this dude seems like an awesome fit for that book. That's just what I'm saying.
I don't know. I might take umbrage in this because it sounded a little bit like my premise for StarCore in there. I'll just say it. Just say it. Mr. House of Ideas over here.
I will say, I mean, there is purple. I'll give it like the silver and the purple. I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing it. I didn't see it before, but I can see where you're coming from.
Right.
I smell what you're stepping in.
So can I be? I'm assuming that was supposed to be Doink the Clown.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Because we were talking about WWE, because Tony wants us to put us into I'm assuming 2K WWE matchup and not the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to do it in the real ring, though, when we meet, I can do it. It's been a while since I've been in a ring, but we can do it.
Yeah, I ain't doing that. You can do that on your own. I ain't getting in it.
Oh, okay.
Crossover potential. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Somebody's out there thinking. Somebody's using their noggin. All right.
That's Shaun, right?
I think so. I think that one is. Yeah.
Next we know, Sean's gonna be like, "Hey, I adapted the story into a comic book. Can you and Fish do something together?" Oh, nice. Little circuitry board in there. Okay.
Yeah, because I want all the purple to be like, be the nanotech.
Yeah.
And then it's forming together into these hard bits of shell. And I'm hoping I can use this texture to help me get there. All right, let's see.
Yeah, if you could do that and then maybe have it glowing, that would be dope, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. I just need to grab that, and this is so skinny. I don't care for it often as it is, but when nope, wrong one. That was shrinking. I need to enlarge my selection. When I enlarge it a little bit, it usually comes out looking better.
So I'm glad I'm watching you do this. I mean, I use Clip Studio a lot, but I do so basic things on it. I don't really play with all the features that it has, and I really should.
Oh, I'm still part of the reason that I still watch all these tutorial videos that usually are going over very basic stuff for Clip Studio. I still watch them because sometimes I find amazing things that I didn't know existed. And I just recently found out that when you go in to customize a tool and you go into some of these different settings, let me find something that's got them. I didn't realize that these little things here opened up all these complicated other options. you can set the angle of the brush to be, it is what it is, the direction of the pen, the tilt of your pen, the direction of the line, random. Like that stuff makes some of my brushes so much better when I
Hmm.
set all these things to random, and it'll randomly flip the textures and spin them, and then randomly alter the colors and tones a little bit and
Oh,
stuff.
nice.
You get some really interesting stuff. And let's see something. Oh, it's on screen. That's why it's not working, because I had it on screen last time.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And let's see here. There's not good stuff on his back section there, so let's grab some of that. Move it around and play with it a little bit.
Get at
Whoops,
a
I
better
used the wrong
angle.
one. Yeah, and then I'm going to use my purple flat layer to mask off everything else.
Okay.
And you know what? The one thing I didn't think about was that when I did that part, this part over here was still showing. So now I can do it, and I don't have overlap over here on this side anymore.
Mm, makes sense.
But like these are all kinds of little things that I thought, you know what? There's a lot of cool stuff in here that I know how to do that, somebody might get some use out of.
Yeah.
So why not give the old art stream thing a try and see? Nobody wants to watch, then okay. But you know what? Katie likes to watch. So
Hi,
there you
Katie.
go. That's cool. I take it.
No, I mean, and it's weird because as podcasters and streamers, we don't know who's gonna watch. We don't know
Oh
who's gonna
yeah.
find things like this interesting. Like when I do the Four Tales podcast, I don't know who's gonna want to listen to us talk about comics and whatnot. But sometimes you just do it for yourself, just for the fun of it. I mean,
Hmm.
it can be monotonous and draining sometimes, but overall, if you're enjoying it and it's not costing you too much money out your own pocket, just do it, and you can find
Oh
your own
yeah.
audience doing it.
Yeah. I've when I first started, when Tony first invited me on to 5 Star, I was like, oh dang it, I forgot I had that other sport still selected. When he first invited me on
Wait,
to
I like how you said that. When Tony first invited me, I was like, oh dang it.
That's not what I meant. I still had another piece selected.
Oh no, I know, but it still was perfect.
Oh yeah, it was perfect timing. Absolutely. I was like, I don't know if anybody's going to watch or not, but it'll get me used to being on camera, because I'm going to have to do more of that if I'm going to
Mhm.
start doing my own book, and I'm going to have to start getting on more podcasts, and it'll get me comfortable doing this. And,
Yeah,
maybe we can build an audience and lift all our books up and stuff, or
yeah,
maybe we have a good time,
yeah,
and
totally.
learn some stuff. It's not like we're out a whole lot of money. I love watching other artists work. You never know what you might learn, and it's fascinating seeing the different working techniques too. Absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the things that I love most. Like I've learned so much about tools I never would have known about, just because I watch somebody that does something so much differently than I do.
Yeah, no. And then going back to like starting your podcast to get more comfortable, that's one of the reasons why I did the Four Tales podcast initially, because I've always struggled with talking in front of people, talking in front of audiences. And I realized back in 2020 that when things open up again, I'm going to be out there again in front of people trying to sell my books. And I felt being on podcasts is a great way to just get used to talking. Some people don't understand that when you're making a
Hmm.
comic like I Drive for Cerber or Green Zone, a lot of it is just telling people what the book is about. And that's harder than you really realize until you actually start doing it. That
Oh man, you are
find
pitching constantly. Yeah.
finding the right pitch for a story is extremely important, and it's very difficult.
Okay, now I have duplicated the layer, and I am going back and shrinking my selection now. Actually, what I did was I selected all the negative space, and I'm enlarging that, and
Ah,
then
okay.
I am going to clear everything in that selection, and now I get a little highlighted line down the center of it.
Very good.
And because I have masked off the layer, I can now click on that mask when I want to, and I can click on transparent and drop this, whoops, drop this down a little bit. And I can go back and like paint out some of those extra lines in some places. And so that hopefully they pop a little bit more. I'm gonna set it to screen. And now they shine up in some places. And then I'm going to take this one. And one thing I've learned to do is when I'm going to make a major change, I duplicate that layer and then hide one. So
Mhm.
I've always got
Yeah,
one I can go back to that I
just in case.
haven't screwed up. And so now I'm on that purple layer in the background, and I'm going to turn it to screen 2 and drop it just a little bit. And then I'm going to put some Gaussian blur on it and see what that looks like. I usually like it, but every once in a while, it just doesn't come out good.
I understand.
Let me
Yeah, see,
shrink
yeah, that
my
technique
layer.
is totally different than what I would have done. I would have probably, done like a duplicated layer and then maybe did like a highlight on there or something. So just seeing what you're doing is crazy, dude.
All right, it didn't do any. There we go. And it
Yeah.
went too far. That was my problem. My preview wasn't catching up with me. So let me try it again. So it's like, it's not doing anything. And I
Katie
took it
says
too far.
I'm going to be doing some drawing streams for UHS, but for more realism style stuff rather than comic book style. Okay. I
Cool.
I did not know Katie was part of UHS, so cool.
Oh yeah, she's coloring the Finding D book. Where Dee
Very
did
nice.
all her stuff in black and white, and
Okay.
Katie was saying earlier she's just now uh, finishing up the last page today, and
Very
she
cool.
does some amazing work. And she did. I heard she did a bunch of dragons and stuff for the Sundering, but I haven't seen it personally. I haven't come in at the right time when they were showing it off. I usually come in a hair late on a lot of the streams. I will admit, I come in late sometimes.
Are you dropping your
Um,
kids off too? That's why you're late?
yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's a ticket. Yeah, it's the commute from the bathroom to my chair. Yeah, it kills me. Traffic.
Yeah.
Oh, it kills me.
Traffic along the kitchen area. It's
And then there's detours because we've got a puppy. So now there's lots of little detours dropped throughout the house that we have to redirect. Yeah,
ew.
it's.
Ew. Ew.
My wife completely forgot what it was like having a puppy. It is good
That
gracious, man.
that
It
first
is
year or so, yeah.
it is something. That's all I can say, man. It is a workout. All
Yeah.
right. Turn that yellow. Gonna turn that layer to screen. And now I'm gonna select this purple area again. Whoop, not selected area. Reference area. And then it selects off my reference layer of my flats. And then I'm going to shrink that selection a little bit so that I got a little edge around it. I'm going to go more. Because I kind of want it to look like it's, there's a little bit of shadow from that armor maybe.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to come in and try and highlight up some of this. Oh, I'm still in transparent. That's why.
I love the comment from Severed Anomaly.
Severed Anomaly. I put this stream on while doing my morning stuff. Step out for 30 seconds, get the mail, come back to y'all talk about dog poo. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's,
Yeah,
part of the life
that's
of
all fish.
an artist. Picking up after new puppies. It's all fun and games till you get a puppy.
Actually, in 2020, I had my sister-in-law and her kids live with us for a little bit. Oh, hey, Sarah. And
Oh, good to see you, sir.
and they had 2 dogs that ended up having puppies while living with us. They had like 7 puppies, so our house just smelled of dog poo all the time.
Man. And the real problem is, since Sarah's all about the dog poo, is it has triggered two of our other dogs into being like, oh, we can do this now? And so they just like, she put out puppy pads and stuff for the puppy. And like one of our dogs is part corgi, part like border collie. So she's this gigantic ottoman, this really big long ottoman. So she'll like get the front of her body on the pee pad. Her butt's 2 towns over. And so now they're all like, oh, we can do this again. I remember this. And I'm so ready. And the puppy got into something last night. So now he's turned into a little like freaking fire hose bingo. Like just, it is unpleasant right now.
Well, like you said, they smell it everywhere. They're like, yeah, if they're doing it, I'm going to do it too. So,
yeah, it is.
Now just
she wonders why I didn't want another dog. She wondered why I thought that was a bit much. All right, I kind of like the way that's coming along. All right, now I need to actually get in here and do some highlights and shadows so I can. Okay, I didn't follow my own rules. I color my layers. I color code my layers, like my inks black and my highlights yellow, so it's easy for me to find. So I don't have to dig around trying to find, trying to click on a bunch of layers or trying to read tiny little writing that my old eyes can't see. And so I color code them so it's easier, but I forgot to. 16-year-old dog who is incontinent now, but fortunately the other dogs look guilty if he pees in front of them. At least they've got some standards. At least that's some stiff upper lip British dogs right there. They're like, we're not standing for this. Good for the other dogs to not fall suit and be like, oh, we can do this. Great. Because that ain't no fun. So now I'm going to do general highlight layer. I'm going to make it yellow. I'm going to make screen so it's easy for me to find and I don't have to dig around looking for it. And then purple for my multiply layer, because I used to always make my shadows purple and now I don't really, but still that works in my head. So all right, and I tell you, the way I have gotten to doing so many of my highlights and shadows now, and it's so simple, it's almost a cheat really, but I will select like a large area. Sometimes I'll select like the whole character and get a big airbrush and zoom out and just like, boom, a highlight from one side.
Okay.
And then I will go in and I will deselect everywhere I want that highlight to stay, which seems a little fidgety, a little nitpicky kind of, but I can, cut in all the high spots on the clothes and all the high spots in those wrinkles and the shoulder and, get all of this stuff relatively quickly. And
that totally makes sense. Yeah.
And then I'll get like the nose, and I'm going to say the top of his head here is kind of shadowed, and his chin. Oh, I didn't have his. That explains why that didn't show up. And okay, we got that. Then I'm going to come back, and with transparent, I'm going to erase that. Then I'm going to go to the multiply layer, and I'm going to pick my shadow color, and I'm going to do the same thing from this side down here at the bottom. And I really like the subtle fade of the highlights as it goes down, and then the shadows as it comes back up, and then they're not crossing into each other. And if I have an edge that seems like it's too hard or something, I'll come in and smooth it in both layers with the blur tool right there.
Yeah.
And like I'll do it on faces a lot, to smooth out those edges, especially on the ladies. Maybe the guy you want to have hard edged, and I probably could have used a little bit more highlight on the cheeks there, but I'm really digging it. It goes so fast and gives pretty good results a lot of the times, and sometimes I go like real extreme with it, especially like, if they're in a fire or something.
Sure.
But
It's all situational.
yeah, and sometimes it doesn't have to be that dramatic. And also, like, the other thing I like about it, let me find a good spot here. I don't think this is what I'm going to do final for it, but I'll show the technique anyway. All right, I got my selection tool, and I'm going to go down so that it goes off of my reference layer, which is my flats. And it's selected this area right here and this section of the highlight because they're connected in the flats. And then I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'll get a harder airbrush. No, that's too big. And I'm going to go in my highlights and paint a highlight on there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to come in and select like right through the middle of that highlight. And then I'm going to come back and take that out. Then go to my multiply layer, and I'm going to use a different one here. No, that's not dark enough. I don't like that color. Let's try this one. And come in and put, a little bit of a shadow in there.
Oh, nice.
And then you can use that same mask to come in and add like a bottom shine highlight. Yeah. Like for doing like chrome metal stuff, like that works out so well so quickly. I just love it. Let me see. Let me go back and undo all of that.
These little techniques that you get, like I don't color my work, so I don't usually focus on those, but those little techniques that are easy to do, but they make it stand out so well and so quickly. That's crazy.
Oh yeah. And like you can come in with blues and stuff and then do the same thing. And you can, like you can cut it off jagged if you want to do like a reflection of the mountains in the background and get like, real like 80s style. Whoops, I went the wrong direction. Okay. And I did it again. I did the exact same thing again. That's one problem with this technique is sometimes I'll forget which way I have to go, but I'm also trying to talk at the same time, which is throwing me off. But
that is a skill in itself, drawing and talking.
Oh, that's man. And then you could throw that in there, and then you could throw in, a highlight down here, or you could even make it blue again or whatever. But like you can get really cool metallic effects that way. And it's a little heavier handed because of it's already pretty bright underneath.
Yeah.
But it works so fast. Like when you're doing like, there's so many times I'm doing like segmented metallic arms or like, gold metal bands on Steel Wolf's arms or something like that. And it goes so fast. Katie says she sent me the Sundering Dragon. Let me see if I can. Oh, man. Okay. Let me pull this over here into this window.
Are you sharing this?
Yeah, I'm going to share this, man. Check this out.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's really cool. Man.
Oh, wow.
Those scales, though, dude.
Yeah, those scales are fantastic.
Man, that is... That's the amount of time and focus you obviously don't have.
I mean, even the little details like the highlight of the fire around the mouth, and then you can see a little bit on the legs there. That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
By hand? All the scales by hand? That's...
See, Uncle Fishy would have cheated a lot of that, because that's the way I do. But I also, I do what I do. I get
Yeah,
paid to do what I do. I get paid for a certain, level of detail. I'm not getting paid for that kind of level of detail, and I'm not known for that kind of level of detail. I
me
could
either.
do it,
Yeah.
but I that's not what people I'll bet you did. I tell you, one of the things that I love, a little quick thing that I found out, and let me open up another page here and just show you this thing I do real quick because I enjoy it before I got to get off of here. Um, but like, okay, first off, let me turn this blue. Like, say I've got a shoulder here and it's got to have scale mail on it. So I will rough in, you know, this layout
Hmm.
and then come in on my ink layer and then draw, most of those shapes. And like, I really like to accentuate, like when I'm doing Steel Wolf, I really like to accentuate the ones on the outside and, like they're sticking out and overlapping and really
Yeah.
helps sell that feeling. And then the closer I get into the inside, the less and less they show up and becomes more of a hint, except where you need, like if you really need a shadow line coming down,
Yeah.
like where his peck is or something, I'll darken those. But a lot of that, gets dropped down, and I'm only really detailing out a handful of them. But it
And
comes out with a cool looking finished product.
yeah, and that's actually a very old school technique
Yeah,
that people like Sal Buscema and John Romita would do. It's not getting all the details of the figure or whatever it is, but it's just enough to where the person reading its mind can
they
fill in the
get,
rest of
oh,
it.
this is scale mail. This
Yeah,
is, yeah.
yeah.
And let's see. And then we fill that up. We realize that we missed a couple of places. So we fill that in. And, but this is the thing that I love is, okay, I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to do the same thing with my highlights and shadows. Make a new layer, multiply, make it purple. Okay. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to, did it select now? Did it? And I'm going to, paint my highlights in there. It didn't make a selection, but still I can do the same thing.
Yeah.
This time I'll just make a selection of where I want to keep it and then I'll invert it. And, oh, wait, no, that wasn't the trick I was going to show you. Duh, pay attention,
Uh-oh.
fishy. Okay. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to select inside of this area. And I'm going to go ahead. I added area scaling as one of the tools that'll show up on my Magic Wand Select, and you can make that larger so that it'll select this area and go behind the lines and trap something. But you can also set it negative, so it'll select within the area and make it smaller. So if I take it to, say, let's try -5 and see what that does. That selects inside that area pretty well. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller, and I'm gonna select in all of this area and see what I get. Okay, that highlight's throwing me off a little bit because it's picking that up too. But now it's got a whole lot of that selected on the inside, and then I can go in with my brush, with my lasso selection,
Mm.
and clean up a few of these so that we're just getting, it makes getting those areas on the scales so easy usually and so quick. I usually don't have this much to clean up, but I usually also spend a little bit longer drawing them. than I did right here. But
Yes,
I
Eric,
can't.
usually. What is tabmate? I'm not familiar with that. What is that?
Where
I think that Sean says you have tabmate for Clip Studio. I'm not familiar with that.
I know the name, I don't have any idea what it is or what it does.
Oh,
Like, I recognize it. I know I see it.
it's
I
a
don't know.
handheld device that can be used with pen tablets and tablet devices, so you can more easily create your illustrations, comics, cartoons, and animations. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's like basically it's a bunch of quick keys, like
Yeah.
that you can have. I've thought about getting that because I miss my quick keys so much, but I haven't bothered to get it. But I know I see ads for it all the time. I knew I recognized the name. Okay, so now I've got that selected. I'm going to invert my selection and go back. And whoops.
You did it wrong again.
That was not transparent. That was bright yellow. And then we're going to come in with some brown over here, and we're going to shadow this other side of it. And then we're going to come back with some orange and tap it in here for like a glow, underglow. And man, that comes out looking cool so quickly when you don't overspray and stuff like I did there. But once I realized that I could set that selection tool to automatically shrink that area for me, I could just go in and I will lay out just straight lines for the tiles in the floor, and then I'll go through and select all that area, shrink it, and then highlight that, and I have the top. Or I'll select all that area inside the lines of the tiles. I'll shadow it all a little bit, in places, and then I'll shrink that selection so there's a little edge around all those tiles. Delete the shadow and then highlight some of that, and you've got the raised surface shiny and the beveled edges on those tiles is shadowed.
Wow.
Wham bam, you're done. And if you really want to get fancy and go select some of those areas and make them darker so that this side of the tile you can do that, or you don't have to. It goes so quickly. The cool effects I can get just by putting I've got this honeycomb pattern I love for doing technical stuff. In 5-star, he fights in these holographic chambers that can generate whatever images you need to fight against, to train. So I made the floor this honeycomb pattern, and I've got this honeycomb that I'll lay down, get it in perspective, select that white area in the middle, get rid of the honeycomb, and then I'll make it one shade, shrink the selection, make it another shade, shrink that selection, and you have this lit floor from under the ground that has all these holographic cells in it in 5 minutes.
That's dope.
It's crazy how easy these tools are. I mean, I could do all this stuff in Photoshop by hand. I could make all those selections by hand. It would just take me a whole lot longer. And, I could do all this stuff traditionally and draw it all out and paint it, and, but that takes a lot longer, and nobody wants to pay me to spend 3 days painting one of these pages. They like the page rate they get when I can knock out several pages a day. And that works out for both of us. And so, it's funny, all the things that I would have gotten mad at is that's cheating in high school when I was learning how to do all this stuff with a brush by hand. And now I'm like, this is my job. This isn't, for clout. This isn't for attention. This isn't to win a prize. This is to get you your book on time, looking good. Your customers are happy. You're happy with the price. And, that's about doing things quickly. I could build a house with a handsaw. You ain't going to pay me enough for how long that's going to take. I could forge my nails by hand. I could build me a blacksmithing spot out here in the back and hammer out nails by hand. You don't want to pay for that.
No.
You just find me getting them at the Home Depot. All right. Before we get out of here, let's give one more pitch for iDrive for Cerber real quick for the amazing group of 6 people that are watching us right now, and everybody that's going to come back on the Agents of Geekdom Network later and watch this stream. You've got the next 23 days to watch this and go back. I Drive for Cerber.
Please
Let us know
do.
about it.
I Drive for Cerber is the first issue. We actually have a second issue and a third issue planned, but it's the first issue of the popular creepypasta about Jim, who is trying to find a better life for himself, finds this cool app on his phone called Cerber. It gives him the opportunity to do drive share like Uber and Lyft, but he finds out it's drive share for the supernatural. So he determines that this is something he wants to do because he gets paid a lot for doing this. But there's a lot of bad things that could happen when you're driving for people like, oh, I don't know, Slender Man and ogres and demons and kelpies and things like that. You know, not just physically, things happen to his car that he wasn't expecting. So there's some comedy in here, there's horror, and then Jim finds out some things about his past that are connected to being part of Cerber. So there's some mystery in it. Also,
Oh, wow.
we are fully funded right now. Shaun has given me the okay to say this, that at $4,000, we hit our first stretch goal, which will give everybody that backs it a customizable bumper sticker. And when I say customizable, you'll be able to choose which of the characters from Cerber will be on your bumper sticker. So if you like Jim, or Slender Man, or whatever, we're gonna have some options there you get to choose from, and you'll be able to have that. So that way you get it a little bit more customized to what your preferences are. And please go to our website, cerbercomic.com. Back it, like Fish said, we got 23 days, so you have time, but we want to get this going fast so we can get more stretch goals unlocked.
Trust me, you want to get in there, because I can promise you, you're going to say, oh, I got 23 days. I can get back to it. And you're going to think about it on day 29. And you're going to be like, oh, I need to go. Oh, too late. You missed it, baby. Sorry. It's gone. You lost your shot. Yeah.
So sorry.
You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Let's see. Javon says, looking forward to having Shaun and Kyrun on a Stoked podcast this Thursday. Awesome, man.
I am stoked to be on the podcast, sir.
It does look like a really cool comic, doesn't it? Like, I'm excited about it. I love the idea of anything that's Monsters Among Us, doing their thing, having to survive, whether it was like the Undertown in Ben 10 or whatever that stupid show was on Fox where they had like police that were policing monsters in the real world, and like it was so dumb. I watched every freaking episode of that thing
Was
just
it
because.
a cartoon?
No, it was a live action show. They had a little person on there that was a gnome informant that was going around with these two cops, and you got this dude that's way too young to be the old grizzled cop, and the hot chick that just got brought onto the team, and and they're constantly like being attacked by monsters they weren't ready for. It came out around the same time Warehouse 13 came out. Okay. And so I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. It was not, but I watched every single episode because it dealt with monsters, and and I dig that. Like it just scratches an itch in my brain, man. I have a character that's going to show up in Green Zone that ties into, a very popular, well-known cryptid, and he's going to show up later on, and, you're going to find out like who he is and where he's from and all this stuff. And I dig it. I dig it.
Okay. You'll have to be on my podcast then so we can talk about that when you're ready.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. I appreciate you coming on. It made it a lot more fun to have somebody else to chat with and, talk about while we're working here. Can't wait to see what Shaun thinks about the whole coincidence between Cerber and our game.
Yeah. That was weird, Sarah, that when you sent me that, I was like, this is basically Cerber, but in a game form. Like, crazy.
Oh, man. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. And I appreciate y'all coming. Thank you, Kyrun, for coming on and hanging out with us. And I will see you guys on Thursday. And I still don't have an outro yet, so I'm just going to play the intro again. Love you guys. See you later.
Later.